Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Wordy, my hub for all of the words that I read, write, or otherwise want to yap about. Today, I have a very special author guest on the pod. She is the USA Today and #1 internationally best-selling author of contemporary romance and rom-com stories. In addition to being an author, she's also a songwriter. Please welcome Lauren Rowe to the show. Lauren, welcome to Talk Wordy.
You. I'm elated to be here. Thank you so much.
As a music dork on all levels, I have been especially excited to talk to you. But we'll get into your music process later. I just think that's such like a cool bag of tricks that you have. I don't know. We'll get into that later, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Sort of in the same vein, I love to kick off all of my episodes with my guests, talking about what we are reading, watching and listening to lately. So I will let you, guest gets to go first. So what have you been
Okay.
reading, watching, and listening to?
Okay. Well, I just finished Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I'm about to start Story of My Life by Lucy Score. I
Mm.
love her as a person, and I love her wit and charm, and just love her. So I can't wait. I have been watching Pluribus on Apple TV, which is really creepy and cool and interesting. My family's been watching it, and I would say I've been listening on pretty much on repeat to Hayley Williams' new album. She is the lead singer
Ooh.
of Paramore, and she put out a solo album, and it's called Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. It's phenomenal, and it is just so raw and vulnerable and also cool, and like she's just cool, but she is not holding back. It's very inspiring. In my music, I like all kinds of music, but something that's very inspiring to me is someone who's willing to lay it all out there, and
Hmm.
she does. All I know is I can't stop listening to it when I'm walking my dogs, when I'm doing, driving, and I just can't get enough of her lyrics, her heart, her ability to go where, you didn't expect her to go, because she's just doesn't have any fucks to give.
Real. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. I need a new like album. I feel like my years are divided into like my different hyperfixations, many of which are like albums I discover. So that could be a good one to kick off the year. I'm gonna have to go check it out. For me, what I've been reading, watching, listening to, reading wise, I just started People We Meet on Vacation. It's my first read through of that one. My favorite Emily Henry book is still Happy Place, but I'm getting it like an interesting, like I like to call it the 5-star tingle. I'm getting 5-star tingles from this book because I just have such a big like sense of wanderlust and I love a good second chance romance. And I'm getting it from that book. So I'm excited to finish it before the movie comes out in like 4 days or something. I know I'm on the clock. Watching wise, I just watched the two most recent Avatar movies back to back. I forgot how long those things were because
Yeah, back to back. It's a marathon.
I watched The Way of Water on Saturday, and then I watched Fire and Ash in the theater the next day. They're so good. And it's crazy to think that when they were filming it, like none of it was real. None of it. And then it just becomes this massive end product. It
Yeah,
was
that is pretty
insane.
impressive that they're running around like children playing make believe, you know,
Yeah.
and the world does not exist for them whatsoever. And then
No.
it's just so immersive when you see it. Yeah, very
It
impressive.
Yeah, so I've been watching that and of course the Stranger Things finale. Ooh, it was insane. And then listening wise, until I find that clutch first album of the year, I have been listening to the Tortured Poets Department. Uh,
Yes, of course. I mean, nonstop, all of it. Yeah.
Never.
Torture, it's such a masterpiece.
It's so good. And something about Taylor Swift's music in particular, I feel like once a new album releases, people develop this greater appreciation for the album that came before it. So
It
like
happens every time.
When Tortured Poets came out, everyone was like, oh my gosh, Midnight's was underrated. I'm like, that's correct. Or like when Midnight's came out, oh, Evermore was so good. And so
No, you're right.
Now that Life of a Showgirl is out, I'm going back and mind you, I love Tortured Poets. I think that that should have won a Grammy. How it didn't, I will never understand. But I don't know. It also sounds like seasonal depression. And while I am not depressed, there's something about January, February, and early March that just the Tortured Poets Department just nabs it.
I
Um,
agree.
so that's what I've been listening to. That and Evermore, truthfully. Those two albums
Ah,
are such
I
winter
know.
albums. Ooh, I love
I
it.
love Evermore. I love, of course, I love all of it, but yeah, I love Evermore so, so much. And I think that the Tortured Poets Department is what I was just saying about the Haley Williams album too. It's like you just can't believe how raw and honest the lyrics are. And that's what really, really grabs, at least for me on that album for Tortured Poets, is that sense of just like, wow, she's not holding back. And she's telling us things she's never said before.
Especially with Haley's vocals. I'll have to report back after I listen to the album.
Yeah, well, just one little thing on that, her vocals with Paramore, a lot of times she's doing a lot of belting and her voice is just unbelievable. She's pretty restrained on this album and she's cast a spell on you, but it's interesting to see what she does when she's doing a solo album and she's not with her band and she's not with the boys. It's just a very different side to her. Equally magical, but she is not doing a redux of Paramore. She's doing something very different. So I'll be interested. I'll need to hear back from
Oh, I'm ready. Oh, that sounds
you.
good. Okay, now a little
Okay.
less about me. Let's get into you. You've had quite the author journey.
Yeah.
You've been an author for what, 10 years now?
Yeah, 11. Well, actually, okay, I've been a romance author for 11, but I had a memoir about cancer that came out a few years before that. And that's what really kicked off my author journey. I've been a romance author under the name Lauren Rowe since my book first came out in January 2015. So, yeah, so now it's been 11 years officially.
Wow, so it's like the anniversary month of the launch too. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's a great
Congratulations.
feeling. Oh, every year that I'm still here and that there are still people reading my books and still people who want to scream from mountaintops about them and contact me and tag me and tell their friends about them. You cannot even begin to imagine the source of joy and accomplishment and pride and love and community I feel. It's unbelievable to do what I do, but also to keep doing it year after year. It's mind blowing, heart bursting. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
So with that in mind, what would you say, if anything, is your personal secret to longevity as far as an author career?
Well, it might sound a little cliche, but I've just always been true to myself. That doesn't mean I'm not thinking about what's going on in the market. I have written one book that just I loved it so much, but like 500 people read it. And I kind of was like, well, I can't keep down this road. People don't like it was weird. It's weird. And it was like a psychological thriller. And it was just really different than all my romance. So I was like, okay. But that said, besides like not wanting to write something that nobody wants to read, I have to be me. You can't chase other people's voices. You can't try to be like someone else. You can't compare. They always say comparison is the thief of joy. And for longevity, I know it sounds very simplistic, but you just have to write as yourself. You have to write what makes you want to read, what touches you, what makes you laugh, what makes you cry. You have to find your honest soul and put it on the page, or else nobody's going to care. They might care for a book, but it won't last. And then
Mhm.
the other thing is to remember that you're building a wall as an author. So each book is a brick in that wall, but you really can't live or die by the success or failure of a given book or a particular review or whatever. You are creating a work of art that will reflect you and all your multifaceted, feelings and characters and all of it. And so you just have to believe. You have to just believe in a delusional way. Yes, distilling it down, you must be delusional. That's the source of my longevity. It's total delusion that I can keep doing this and that people will continue to care.
I love that. I love that because last year I don't want to say it was a full-blown resolution, but last year I was like, this is the year that I stop caring what people think. And
Yeah,
now that it's 2026, I'm like, this is the year I double down and just be full-blown delusional. The
100%.
only thing that can really suffer from that is like my digital footprint. But otherwise,
100%. No, there's no other way to do it. You can't care what people think. And unfortunately, or fortunately, that philosophy bleeds into all of life. It's not just an author advice, it's being a human being. You want to be a compassionate person, empathetic, care about people, of course. Caring about some random person's opinion of you is absolutely ridiculous. Who cares? You are the only person in this particular container. You have an absolute mission. That mission is to be true to your unique soul, your unique talent. That's your mission. You can't veer off it. And that's just writing and that's just life. So that's what I try to do.
I love that. Somebody, I think a celebrity, had quoted that embarrassment is an underexpressed emotion. And it was just astounding. I was like, you're so right. You're so
Yeah,
right. I haven't even scratched the surface of making a fool of myself affectionately, positively.
exact. Because you're taking a risk. If you feel embarrassment, that means you put yourself out there. That means you were vulnerable.
Yeah,
What's better? I mean, don't we have enough fake in the world? Don't we have enough where, don't we want to connect? Don't we, like, we just talked about the Tortured Poets Department. That's exactly, we just talked about Haley Williams' new album. And that's literally it's authenticity. It's digging deep. It's putting yourself out there and not caring that there are going to be some people who say, oh my God. And you might, suffer that, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
agreed. And speaking of which, I'm curious to know throughout your author career, what have been some of your like highlight moments or like most beloved milestones for you personally?
Well, it's funny you ask me that because I used to keep track of them in a very, very tangible way that is no longer sustainable. I would get a tattoo on my side every time a huge milestone happened. So the very first time I had a book published, I got the tattoo. And then when there was a foreign rights deal, I got the tattoo. And then when I made a list, I got the tattoo. And then I kept making lists and then international lists and then all this and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to run out of real estate." And also these things are painful. That is like the most painful place to get a tattoo. I have like 11 of them and I stopped. So, long story short, I've had a lot of the usual milestones that authors might cite, which is me making a list or, such and such deal, whatever. For me, as I look at my career, though, honestly, the things that give me the most joy are just these little moments where I found out that there are readers all over the world who love my books, who love my characters, and this is going to sound really narcissistic, but then therefore love me. They don't know that. But if they love Keen Morgan, for instance, from this book I wrote called Ball Peen Hammer, then that means they love me because he is like a total extension of me, for instance. Or I went to a signing and someone had my words tattooed on her arm and I lost it. I couldn't even believe that someone would do that. Many times I've been to a signing and someone breaks down in tears upon meeting me and I hug them and we just stand there crying and hugging each other. So these are the milestones that mean the most to me if I'm being really honest. It's just being reminded because my real life is sitting in front of a computer at this very desk and, being in my thoughts and being in this little weird world I'm creating. But then I go around the world and I see someone and I can touch them and they hug me and they tell me that my books matter to them and that my characters are real to them. And I tell you, there's no better milestone than that. Although I will say also, and it's similar, once I was in London and I walked by this group of young women and they were chatting, and I heard my very unique line from Ball Peen Hammer, one of them saying it. They said, "Oh, you're a handsome and happy lad." And Keen Morgan says that all the time, handsome and happy lad. And I went like this, and I listened more. I eavesdropped shamelessly, and they had all just read the book and were talking about the book. And they were quoting from it and laughing about it. And I was like, I've arrived. You know what I mean? Like, I have arrived. So that was a really great milestone, too. Yes, the answer is I did walk over there and go, "You guys, it's me. It's me." Of
I was
course.
literally
Of
just about to
course.
ask, tell me you went up there.
I did. And of course, they all were screaming and squealing, and we were laughing and taking photos. It was really fun. So, anyway, every time I think of a major milestone, even though I'm probably supposed to still continue keeping the ones that are objectively cool and wonderful, and I'm very grateful for them, it always comes down to moments with specific people. They really touch me and they really inspire me. And this is when anyone DMs me and tells me something, I always try to express to them, "You have no idea how much you're inspiring me and touching me," just because this is why I continue to write the books. This is why I take such care in trying to make them so, so meaningful for people. And yeah, a lot of them are rom-coms. And so you might think that they're just like, not something that is from my heart, but they are all from my heart. They're from deep, deep, deep in my heart, no matter whether they're a little on the sad side or a little bit on the funnier side or a little bit unhinged. They're all something that I meant need to express.
I love that. I'm a smaller author, but even when somebody DMs and is like, I'm reading this book right now and I'm having a blast, I'm like, cut
Yeah.
the cameras. I need to go sob real quick. I think a lot of us get so um, caught up in did I make this list? What number rank did I place on Amazon or wherever? And you could be having the worst day, or I could be having the worst day. And if I get a DM, or even if somebody just responds to my story and was like, this book was bomb, I'm like, how does it feel to cure my depression?
Seriously. I
Yeah,
know. What magic spell is this and can I bottle it? It's so
exactly.
great. Yeah, it's a great feeling. And I mean, I'm only human, so I'm not going to be completely successful at this, but I'm really trying not to focus on all of the outward objective metrics of success, like, rankings and all that stuff. It matters, of course, but really, I mean, at the end of the day, what are we all doing this for? We're really are artistic people who
Mhm.
feel an urge to express and connect. And so those are the things I try to hold on to because they're what inspires me to write the next one, far more so than trying to reach some, elusive finish line that's never going to be the same because the industry changes so much and I'm never going to capture it exactly that way ever again anyway.
Yeah, I agree. So obviously, we've talked about milestones that are like really precious to us on a smaller scale, but I do want to mention a big scale accomplishment that you've just hit. You recently inked a multi-book deal with Kensington Publishing. First of all,
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you.
That's
I'm elated.
massive.
No,
Af-
it is.
After being an indie for so many years, what made you consider going the traditional route?
Well, I love being indie. I absolutely love it. I love having so much control over the pipeline and over the content and having so much interaction with the readers and all of that stuff. I love it. But there's no way to deny that the traditional publishing route has access to a whole bunch of readers and distribution channels and stores that I can't get into. Maybe other indies have figured it all out, but I certainly haven't. And so when I very first started in my publishing journey, my very first book that's not under Lauren Rowe, and I mentioned was a cancer memoir, and I'm great, by the way. This was now years ago. I had it traditionally published. And therefore, I had an agent, and my agent has continued with me and done all my foreign publishing and things like that. Even though I'm indie, I've been traditionally published on the foreign side. So, long story short, I've kept up this really great relationship with my fabulous agent. And she's the one that kept whispering in my ear, like, hey, I think now would be a good time for us to do this. And this way, honestly, as a business decision to create a hybrid chance for myself to reach more readers. It's as simple as that, reaching more readers. As I mentioned, I love being an indie. So it has not just been that I've been like trying to escape the shackles of my indiehood. That's not it at all. But anyway, she whispered in my ear. And when I finally wrote the book that I thought would be a good fit, she then said, well, let me see if anybody wants it. And I'm going to put this book out there as agents do and shopped it. And they came back within, I mean, the next day with a preempt. It was like, we want it. Don't give it to anyone else. We want it. It was one of the best days of my professional life. They were not only did they want it, they loved it. And of course, from there, they asked for a 3 book series. They also bought 5 of my backlist. So they're 8 books in with me, and we still don't even have the first book out. So the relationship has just been stellar. They're super, super, super excited about it. I'm excited about it. And the book's going to be in Target and Barnes and Noble and all the wonderful indie bookstores, in addition to the usual indie channels. So who could deny that opportunity if it came and fell into your lap, kind of.
Yeah.
So I grabbed it and I'm elated I did because they have just let me be me. That's been the best part.
That's awesome. Because I feel like a lot of people, when they think about indie versus trad, they think about that control of like, oh, if I go trad, I have to sacrifice so much, which I mean is potential. But at the same time, for those of our listeners that may feel that way, I'm curious in your personal experience, what has been the biggest difference between indie publishing versus now being a part of a team that helped you go trad?
I tell you what, I get on these Zoom calls with the publisher, and there's like 10 people on my screen. And then as they go down the line to introduce themselves to me, each person is like, hello, I'm this person, and I have, 15 people on my team, and here's what we're doing for you. And I'm just like, what is happening? I'm so used to doing everything, everything. I have a team, but it's like, there's no comparison to these brilliant people who are hustling for me and believe in the book and are using their talents and have full teams behind them. I'm not naive enough to think that this is the same experience everyone has when they when they do traditionally publishing. So experiences may vary. All I can say with this experience is that the biggest difference has just been the amount of really enthusiastic, inspired, motivated, talented people behind the book, behind me. They ask my opinion about everything. They ask my permission about everything. They run everything past me. I never feel like I'm just being sort of railroaded. I'm now part of this incredible wave that's happening, and everybody all has a mutual purpose, which is to get this book out to as many people as humanly possible. So anyway, that's been the biggest difference is just the sheer number of excited, motivated, talented people working so that I can just feel more like, wow, I get to just write the book. Not completely. They're asking me to do marketing and all these things, of course, but much more my job is to write. And so it's kind of a bit nice to just to get to relax into that role a little bit more.
Yeah. And considering how many years you were doing it all on your own, you've definitely earned it.
Thank you.
Um, my last question, as far as, your process in the transition from indie to trad, do you have any words of encouragement for any of our listeners that might be wanting to either go from indie to trad, or their debuts and they are just going into the query or the submission trenches with, a prayer? Do you have any words of encouragement that you could offer them?
Well, it goes back to the delusion I talked about too earlier is you really have to have an insane self-belief and you really can't let anybody steal your belief in yourself. You might wobble, you're only human on a given day, and sometimes people will have good feedback for you. It's very hard to discern when that happens versus the stuff that you should ignore. So that part's really hard. I guess the big thing is just like objectively, you're not a perfect writer, nor am I. So we all still need to grow and we all still need to listen and take criticism and feedback. But you have to weigh that with also like knowing your own voice, knowing in your gut what works, following your gut, following your heart. And if one potential agent or publisher isn't the right fit, that's not always probably isn't a reflection on your work. It's just not a fit because they already have something that they perceive is sort of like yours and they don't want to market two of them or something like that. Or for whatever reason, the person who read it just didn't connect with your work. But we've all heard stories of people getting, 37 rejections and the 38th is Harry Potter. So you recognize you're always going to get better. I look back at my older writing and I'm like, oh, I've really come a long way. We're all going to keep it progressing. So keep an open heart, open ears, and be willing to try to make something better. If there's someone you trust who's giving you that advice, maybe take a good look and see if you can listen and make it better. Not change who you are, not change your voice, but maybe you can make it better. I've made this book better from what I originally submitted. And thank goodness I did because I love it even more. And it was through the process of the editing and people having an idea that made me go, oh, oh, I know how we could do that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So anyway, is
Incredible.
that is that what you meant? Because I don't know if that's the kind of
Absolutely.
advice you meant.
No, that was perfect. And it's a perfect segue too, because now we're going to talk about that book that you love so much that you were able to grow from submission to editing. Also, can we talk about those sprayed edges? I'm
Yes, let's.
obsessed. Oh
Look
my,
at that. Isn't that incredible? And it matches and it's so cute. Oh, and look at the art, the tip in, the art.
oh my God.
Inside. Look at that. Isn't that cute? And then there's a quote on the inside here too. And it's backwards. So it says, when 300-pound linemen come at me, I'm unflappable, but slide a diamond ring into my pocket when I'm bursting to give to the love of my life, and I fall apart.
Oh, I love that.
Anyway, this is the deluxe special edition. And I have to give a plug because they've asked me many times to explain to people that right now is pre-order season for this book. It's coming out January 27. And when this airs, there will still be a bit of time for this have not having been out. But anyways, January 27, and every pre-order counts, especially as an indie. And this special edition is limited, so they won't all have these edges. So if you like them, you have to pre-order it. Well, it'll probably be out there, but pre-order would help me. Anyway, oh, and Barnes and Noble is doing like a huge sweepstakes. So if you
Oh
pre-order
yeah.
from them, then you're automatically entered to win. Okay, that's all my plugs.
Ooh, I love it. Also, we love a shameless plug, so don't be shy. No, I was getting to read the blurb and I was like, oh, it's coming out on my half birthday. Maybe a half birthday present is in store for
Ooh.
moi. Now I have read the blurb, but some of our listeners may not know anything about this book. if you want to share a little bit about it or your inspirations behind the book.
Yes. Now, this book, Chasing the Ring, which is a cute title because she is a runaway bride and he is a NFL quarterback chasing the Super Bowl ring. This book is so much fun. It's got feels, it's got spice, it's got banter, laugh out loud moments. It's got such found family vibes, and it's got double booked in the vacation rental honeymoon, solo honeymoon. Yeah, I mean, it's got like the one bed. So anyway, it's got all the fun tropes. Basically what happens is our poor Iris finds out that her fiance has been cheating on her for a very long time the night before her wedding, so she lets him know and reads from his burner phone that she's found in front of everybody at the chapel instead of saying her vows. And poor Iris goes viral for all the wrong reasons. That she should have seen that coming, frankly. But she goes viral, and things don't go quite as calmly as she thought that they would. She thought she could manage it in a calm and very noble way, but it doesn't go down that way. So she flees to the honeymoon to do it solo. Little does she know that the groom's parents have canceled the bungalow. And so it was already booked to someone else. And that is Roman McGuire, the NFL quarterback who's just switching teams because he's chasing a Super Bowl ring. And also, he's a single dad and he wants to live closer to his son. So the pair, kaboom, chemistry. They did not expect to meet. There's a massive meet cute. It is so steamy. It is so funny. It is so great. You're going to be surprised how much you feel for both of these characters, how alive they both are for you, how much they stay with you, how much you care about them as people, how much you care about their romance, their love, how much you believe their love. I'm telling you. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. I love this book. I know I wrote it, but I love this book. You don't even have to love football, but if you do, I'm a huge football fan, so I can tell you that the football is accurate, but you don't have to love football because if you love romance, this is going to absolutely just like hit it for you.
That's incredible because I am just now like, I've watched football for years. I was a marching band kid, so like I had to know what was
Oh,
going on
awesome.
in
What
football.
instrument? What
Okay.
instrument?
Nerd alert. I was an oboe. And then
Oh, I have someone I love so much who plays oboe and she gives oboe instruction to kids. So anyway,
I
I'm an oboe
love,
stan. I don't play
yes,
it, but I'm an oboe stan.
more oboists, more female oboists. Yeah, I was an oboe player, but then you can't really march with an oboe, so then they switched me over to alto saxophone.
Oh my gosh.
So I played those two, and I love that. But I used to watch football, with my marching band days. You had to know what was going on. But now that
Right.
I'm an adult and I have a couch where I can rot and watch football more seriously, I love it. So I think I'm looking for a sports romance where I actually like learn a little bit more about the sport, or like I can see it play out. Because sometimes with like hockey romances, you're like, oh, they're on the ice. And I'm like, I don't know anything else. But
Right.
it sounds like there's like actual football, like vernacular and terms, and you'll be able to like
There
get a real
is.
sense.
It's not too football heavy just because the setup is he's in the off season, he's in Hawaii for his cousin's wedding. And
Mm,
she has just fled from her fiasco of a wedding that didn't happen. And but he's chasing the ring, as we know. So there football season does come around and we do go to some football games. And football is his life. And he also has two younger brothers who are twins who also play in the NFL. It's a
mm.
football family. And so there is football in the book. And like I say, my dad had season tickets. I'm married to a football fanatic. I've been watching football my whole life. I really believe that it really immerses you in his world in a pretty accurate way. But I can't emphasize this enough. I just don't think you need to be a huge football fan to love it. I just think romance, if you love romance, that's going to be enough.
Love. Amazing. But I am dying to know, who is your NFL team of choice?
This is such a complicated question. You have no idea. Let me explain. I'm from San Diego, and several years ago, our beloved Chargers spit on us and moved up the road to Los Angeles. They spit on us. They smeared crap in our faces. And we loved them. We did nothing but love them and show them love and support. We were the best hometown people you could ever want to be. And they just flipped us the bird. So it took me several years of like getting over that pain, that devastating heartbreak. I was shattered and I wouldn't look at them. And every time they lost, I cheered, but I've come around. because Justin Herbert is
Ooh.
so cute and I can't help it. And so I just have to separate the team from the owners and just try to forget how they hurt me. I'm into second chance romance, so I'm just gonna
Just
call
about to
it a
say.
second chance romance. And the team that Roman McGuire goes to is the Thunderbolts of LA. I made all new teams in my book, in my world, but they, instead of the Chargers of LA, now they're the Thunderbolts of LA. So I guess that's my way of reconciling with the team and trying to say, okay, I'll give you another chance.
Yeah.
So they're officially my team again. I tried to adopt other teams. I tried to adopt the Chiefs because of Taylor Swift. I tried to adopt the Seahawks because I had to go to Seattle for work many, many years ago, and it's kind of an adopted city for me. I tried to adopt the Eagles because I like Jason Kelsey and I like Kylie Kelsey, and also their quarterback is smoking hot and has an all-female team behind him. But my heart, I couldn't stay committed. And that's because somewhere deep inside, I still loved the Chargers.
That's incredible.
It's so pathetic, though, that they could hurt me that way, that they could just be so cruel, and I still take them back.
Oh, the deep cuts. Yeah. I live in Texas, so unfortunately, the
Oh,
Dallas Cowboys
no,
are my team.
no,
But
no. I so resent them telling me that they're America's team all the time. I'm like, I'm in America too, and you're not my team, just so you know.
this year's our year. This year's our
I don't think so.
No. My husband and I we watched the I think it's called America's Team.
I know,
The
yes.
yeah, we watched that on Netflix and I got to admit, do the Cowboys now piss me off? Absolutely. Do I love the 90s Cowboys? Yeah. I'm like
Yes.
that was America's team. We are not America's team anymore,
No.
minus the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. I root for the
We
Cowboys
all love
simply
them.
because of the cheerleaders.
No,
I
we all love them.
love them.
No, we love them and we all support them. And yes, we're all behind them. I put them aside. They have nothing to do with my disdain for these men who tell me that they're my team when they are not. Don't force yourself on me.
No.
Also, relating to the Dallas Cowboys, Troy Aikman, speaking of your 90s, this is how old I am. He went to UCLA, so did I. And one day at the same time, and one day I was walking through campus and there he was, our quarterback, Troy Aikman, and he was eating a frozen yogurt. And I'll never forget, he was holding a normal frozen yogurt. It looked like a thimble in his hand. His hand was so big. And I walked by like, just like, I, to this day, like I think about that every time I get frozen yogurt. Like I hold it and I think, but Troy Aikman would it would look like this. I think about that more than I care to admit. So anyway, that's my Troy Aikman story.
At least you have a Troy Aikman story. I don't have anything. I don't think I've ever, that's a lie. I don't have a Troy Aikman story, but I do have an Emmett Smith story. It's nothing
Oh,
revolutionary, but I grew up dancing my entire life. And obviously I took classes at a studio. Well, the year that Emmett was on Dancing with the Stars, he used my dance studio for one of his rehearsals.
oh
And
my.
I was in my little leotard and my tutu. I was getting ready for ballet class. And
Oh,
all of a sudden, this big guy, Emmett Smith, walks out of my studio. I don't know who he is. Vaguely, it didn't hit me because there were cameras. And I was like, what's going on here? And he came out. And I was like, because I was like 5 or 6. I didn't recognize him. But then Cheryl Burke came out. And I was like,
oh, she was a huge
oh,
star back then.
because I had just started watching the show, but again, I remember the pros because they're on
Hmm.
every season. And so she came out of my dance studio, and I was just
Yeah. Oh
like,
my gosh.
but now that I think about it, I was like, I was in the presence of Emmett Smith. That man is a
Yes.
national treasure. I
Yeah.
love him. He's probably my favorite Cowboys player ever, hands
Yeah.
down.
I mean, you picked a good one. He's a wonderful person too, by all accounts.
Great,
Yeah.
dude. Okay. Anyways, besides your book spotlighting football, I did want to bring this up because it's like a personal touch point for me. I have like such a big heart for authors that write sex positive stories. It's something that I think when I started reading, it was not as prevalent. It was very like, oh, there's sex in that book. It, you know, that you're reading a dirty book. And I feel like romance authors that write Open Door are really starting to like help champion like a more positive outlook on that. So I want to know what made you want to focus on like the physical aspects of their relationship in this story as the main catalyst for the book.
It's not just in this one book. I only write sex positive stories, and this is whether the characters are very experienced themselves or whether this is all going to be fairly new to them or whether they've whatever their background or their feelings. I am ultimately preaching to the reader without you knowing it, hopefully, about sex positivity, about embracing our sexuality, about there being no shame whatsoever. And it's very, very important to me that that message gets across over and over and over. And I will never stop. I will never stop because I think that, especially for women, the lack of encouragement for us to just embrace our sexuality, in fact, the opposite, being shamed for it, is a crime against humanity. It screws us up and it makes us not enjoy what is our birthright to enjoy. And men just get to escape into this other world where they are just boys will be boys and they get to enjoy everything and everything's for them. And the maze was written and created for them, where we're sitting around supposedly, little harlots. I do not stand for it. I will not stand for it. And every book I write will scream that this is not the way and that the other way is sex positivity. So I'm never going to be ashamed of it. And I'm always going to write Open Door. That said, my scenes will further the plot. They'll further the emotional development. They'll in some way be an important catalyst to something. They always are. And that's what makes them such page turners to read, I hope too, because they're just not like extra. But yeah, the answer is it matters to me. This is not by chance. This isn't just like, well, I don't know. I like sex, so I put sex in. I am making sure that you all know you have nothing to be ashamed of. You shouldn't be ashamed of what you're reading, although I understand. Like, I support you, however you want to do this and cover it and do it. Cool. We all have different home lives and different like barometers. But I'm telling you, you have nothing to be ashamed of. Read it, enjoy it, use what you learn, enjoy your life, enjoy your body, enjoy your relationships. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Does that answer your question?
It is so sad that I am just one person and I can't really do a standing O. Pretend there's like 1,000 people behind me, just like,
That's
oh.
that's who I'm talking to. All of us. We are a sisterhood. We all have to have each other's backs. It's very rare. I have had some villainous women in my books as well. Occasionally, it's just necessary. But mostly, I'm not also not about bashing the female characters in my books either. And even if someone is kind of like does a bitchy thing or a villainous thing, I try to give them like a worldview or a reason why, nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
say, occasionally there's somebody who's just a villain. I admit that. But mostly, I'm not out to bash women. I'm not out to watch women bashing women either. And I'm not out to have women being like trying to make themselves more palatable to men by joining them by saying, I'm not like the other girls. We're all like each other. We all support each other. We're all awesome.
Incredible. Well, now we're on the topic of things that I love. Sex positive stories, sports romance, all the feels. I finally get to ask what I've been dying to ask since I hit record on this episode. I want to talk about the music side of your writing and just otherwise general career.
So do I. So do I. Badly.
Okay, so just right off the bat, how did you get into songwriting?
How did I get into being an author? It just, these things come to you. They're like an antenna to the sky. And then one day you just have the balls to just go with it. And then you find out that someone else goes, oh, that's really cool. Hang on. I have a lot of musicians in my family. It mostly started out with me writing songs with my cousin, who's just been in a band since he was 18 and now he's 40 and still touring the world. So there is that. Like I kind of had that to be like, oh, this is a real thing and you can do this. But that said, it's just like having people say, oh, that's cool. Or I remember the like writing songs as a little girl too. I still remember some of the songs I wrote on my guitar as a little girl. I mean, they're ridiculous and silly and simplistic. But this stuff just bursts out of you.
Mhm.
And then what has happened is I have this entire corner of I have a kind of a extended sprawling universe. And one of the sides of the universe is this guy named Reed Rivers has a record label called River Records. And there's all these bands that he has signed. And of course, we get to see the stories of the different bands and the bandmates, and then they interconnect because they're all at the same parties and things. And when I get to the books for certain bandmates, and they write a song in the book, because people who write music when they feel, and who doesn't write music when they're in love or heartbroken. Anyway, long story short, then I'm like, well, I got to write the song. Rather than tell you they wrote a song, I might as well write the song that they wrote, which is the most fun thing in the whole world, because now I get to write a song as a 20-something-year-old dude who writes in an alt pop indie band, or etc. Or I get to write this little folk cutie in Smitten, writing, her little duet for her and her boyfriend. And I get to write in different genres as different people. I get to express that part of me and just be a songwriter for these fictional characters. And then I've got my cousin and my other cousin helping me to produce it and get it finalized and get it into your ears, so that when you hear them, they sound like radio ready music that is something that you cannot distinguish from the top artists in the world in terms of production quality. So you're not just hearing like my little attempt, with a voice recorder. You are hearing a fully blown, fully created song that sounds like Savage from Fugitive Summer, or 22 Goats, Fireflies, or Allie Smitten, or Spark, again, Fugitive Summer, et cetera, et cetera. The point is, I try to make you immersed in this world so much so that you believe these people exist, and you think maybe I found a band out there and asked them to please write a song for me for this character, which isn't the case at all. It's all me. I wrote it. I had it produced. I had it created, and it's all part of the storytelling. And it's the most fun I could possibly have, is creating this music for these books. I love it more than just writing a song for myself or for another artist or for my own life. Honestly, I don't even care to write music anymore unless it's for my characters, because they're more fun to write than about my own life.
That's so cool. I didn't even think about the fact that you would essentially put yourself in the shoes of a mid-20s man talking
Yeah.
about what I think that's so cool, because I don't know, I've read a lot of books about songwriters this past year, and that is I am the target audience. That is my thing. That is my kind of book. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna do some shopping on your website for real, because especially like take Daisy Jones and the Six. I mean, I feel like that's the
Exactly.
first mainstream, like big proportion, like show of, hey, it's not just writing music to write music. It's writing music for this fictional story, but now it's
To
real
progress
for
the
you.
story.
Yes.
Yes. And I love that book. I love it to pieces. I've been doing that for years. And this goes to your point to indie versus traditional. She's a traditionally published author, brilliant. I read all her books, love them.
Hmm.
My point is, though, that the world knows about her doing her
Yeah.
book, and my audience knows that I do this, but it's just like I can't reach as many people doing what I do. So I'm hoping that with the traditionally published deal, maybe I can reach some more people to find out what I've been doing all these years, because it's pretty cool, if I do say so myself, that like I become Savage of Fugitive Summer and I write a song as him called Hate Sex High, where he talks about her coming 3 times. And like, I'm just little old me sitting here, nice little lady with her kids and her dogs. And no one would ever know, but like, I'm Savage from Fugitive Summer when I'm writing that. And it's a great feeling. Who wouldn't want to be that dude with his little cocky,
Yeah.
donkey dick? So it's a
Okay.
great feeling.
Wait. Okay. Now I'm dying to know if you're able to even say as much. You said that they acquired the multi-book deal. They acquired like five other books from your backlog. Are River Records any of them?
Not you. No.
Oh no, no. Okay, still, that's amazing. But like, oh.
No, and yes. I mean, yes and no. And here's why. They acquired the 5 Morgan Brothers books.
Hmm.
And the Morgan brothers are a family that starts with Hero. Colby is the oldest. Then it goes to Ryan, Captain. Then it goes to Keen, Hammer. Then it goes to a best friend named Xander in his book, Mr. Bodyguard. And then Rockstar, the baby of the family, Dax. And he's in a band called 22 Goats. And 22 Goats gets signed to River Records in that book. And off we go to this other corner. So yes and no, but they acquired it. And what I'm hoping is even then that if people start reading, and those are all coming out through Kensington later after these football books.
Yeah.
My hope is that when the world starts reading the Morgan brothers through Kensington, they go, wait, who's this guy Reed Rivers in this book? Who's Colin? Who's Fish? These are his bandmates. And maybe I can kind of poach off of that success, hopeful success. And those people will start reading the Reed Rivers trilogy and his bands because the music is so much fun. I'm telling you, like, I'm so proud of it and so proud of the people who have contributed. I've hired people to sing because that person sounds to me like how Savage would sing, etc. I'm doing this in a way where I'm trying to fool you completely in the most loving way that you are experiencing reality, that these bands exist, these people exist, and these songs are really on the radio.
I love it. It's like full blown, like an immersive experience, and I need it medically injected into my veins.
That's the goal. That's the hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, I've done so many songs over the years that I recently put up the full collection up on Spotify, totally out of context. They're across all these different books. But
Yeah.
I did the River Records, the Lauren Rowe collection, the complete Lauren Rowe collection. So if you go on Spotify and you were to look up Lauren Rowe or you were to look up River Records, it's going to pop up for you. And every song from all the books, if you just want to listen to the album, is now there. And more will come, but for now, that's the complete collection.
I'm about to make some good use out of my Spotify premium. Okay, so now that we've talked about like the music that you have created for all of that, what would you say are some of the music artists or songs that inspire you to create?
I tend to be a person who absolutely loves female singer-songwriters. I really gravitate to female singer-songwriters. I guess that they speak to my experience. I see myself in them. Um, I mean, obviously Taylor Swift, but going back to all I mean Carly Simon, all the little, all the way back, like, Joni Mitchell, like all the way back and then all the way to present day. And as I was talking about, Haley Williams' new album really speaks to me. Lily Allen had a big album this year that I love. It's so good. And I just love a woman who is writing her own music and pouring her heart out. And I especially love it if she is flipping the bird in some place to a man for mistreating her and getting back and saying what she needs to say. I love that. But also, I love pop. You know how Spotify does that rap at the end of the year and they tell you your age? So I'm 18 according to my age on Spotify.
I love that.
And that's because I'm so hungry for new music and I'll listen to things that I guess the kids are listening to. I love um I love indie, alt rock, I love indie pop, I love pop punk. I love everything and I know everyone says that I love R&B. I also love, rap and I just love anything as long as it's like somebody is passionate.
Mm,
I
yeah,
really love passion. I love, I just love music. So anyway, it's really hard because I know this sounds like a non-answer, but you would be shocked at how all over the place I am with what I listen to and what I'm willing to listen to. And I just enjoy it a lot. And
yeah,
I grew up being very, very, alternate in my leanings. So I've kind of stayed true to my roots. I like somebody who does something kind of a little bit weird. And I'll play something for my kids. I'll go, oh, listen to this. This is so cool. And they're like, it's weird. And so, I mean, I guess I like weird. But again, I love pop too. The pop girlies are having a huge, huge, moment, and I love all of them. I love
yeah.
it.
I guess my last question in this section, I potentially for the whole episode, I'm curious, um, as a music person myself, how is the songwriting process for you different than just the book writing process? I know that songwriting, you're intertwining them with your stories, but also just maybe in a formulaic sense. How is that process different from you?
Oh, that's such a good question. Wow. It's a really great question. And it's really fascinating because they really are related. As a storyteller by nature, what I've learned with my books is that not to fear reader expectation, to serve as reader expectation. You can really outthink yourself trying to be the most original person on the planet. You know what? We all need to feel certain beats and certain emotional arcs, and we need to propel the story in a certain way and hit certain things at certain times. And it's just the way the human heart wants to be touched. So I've learned to embrace formula, but more, I would call it structure. because I'm very unique inside that structure. I subvert expectation, but within the structure. Same with songs. You have a certain structure. And of course, there's lots of songs that don't follow pop structure, plenty, but a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus is a pretty damn good feeling, you know? And also, if I'm going to sing the chorus over and over, I'm going to hear that song, the first chorus, I'm learning it. The second one, I'm like kind of singing. By the third, I want to be able to belt the chorus with you. So don't completely change it on me. Don't make that one cool thing only come up once. Like have it repeat again later. So when it comes, I go, ooh, and I get to sing with it. So in a way, the way that I write songs is the same way as I write books, and that I'm trying to give you what I think I would like, and that is to like be along for the ride and get to kind of relax into it because I can trust the author that you're going to give me a home run and not pull the rug out from under me.
Yeah.
So, songs are stories too. They're just in a different structure and they're in much smaller. You want to give them something that they didn't know before in the bridge. And that's kind of the dark moment in the book.
Mm.
You want to give them a chorus in the book, which is, oh, I love these characters, how they banter. And this is the thing that how they banter, and it comes up repeatedly. Or Grumpy Sunshine. Oh, I like that trope. There's tropes, and that's the chorus in the song. So it's funny, I haven't really put this together, but it's really all related and it comes from the same creative place in me. I've just learned how to package it differently for music. Huh. Thanks. Thanks for the
Yeah.
therapy session. How much do I owe you?
Well, Lauren, this has been an absolute pleasure and an honor. Thank you so much for coming on the show
Thank you.
to
Absolute pleasure for me. You are wonderful, fabulously easy to talk to. You ask wonderful questions, very insightful, just an absolute ray of sunshine. Thank you very much. I've loved every minute.
let's pretend like my eyes are not burning with tears. That is the nicest compliment I've ever received. Thank you so much. To close out the episode, go ahead and tell our listeners where they can find you, whether that's social media, your books, and then, of course, you guys don't forget, Chasing the Ring is coming out January 27th, as in like this month. Um, if you're hearing this before it's out, go pre-order it. Get those
Please.
special edition copies ASAP. I know I'm gonna be taking my wallet or taking my card out of my wallet to go get it immediately. Ah, I can't get over the art. I'm such like a obviously I'm a human art supporter, but like books with like so much bonus art. Oh, love of my life.
I know.
Absolute
This
love
is
of my life.
Siege Art. I should give him a shout out. Siege Art. He's on Instagram. Siege, SEAG, SEAJ Art. He's so talented. My books, at laurenrowebooks.com. That's my handle on Instagram and on TikTok and on Threads, everywhere. laurenrowebooks.com. I'm everywhere all at once, floating in the ethers. And I would love to hear from you. I would love to be tagged. And I am so grateful to anybody who cracks one of my books and gives me a shot. I know there's so much you can read out there. And the fact that anyone spends any amount of their money, time, attention span on me is a true gift and an honor. So thank you for that.
Yeah. And thank you again for coming on the show. It's been real. It's been wonderful. You guys, be sure again to go pre-order her book or go order her book. Go follow her on social media.
Thank
Keep
you.
up with her. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.